Today we are going to discuss here the various aspects of the anatomy of the liver. Now, if you are looking at this model, अब आप देखें इस मॉडल को. Now, if you are looking at this model, you can see there are various surfaces of liver. You see that the liver is the largest gland in the body. Number one, liver is purely, you see that's an abdominal organ, but in the palpation of the abdomen you can't feel a normal sized liver, you can't feel. Another is this one of the largest lymph producing organ also. Now if you look at this liver, now see in this diagram, or you see in this picture, or in this model, or you will see in this picture also. If you look at this, you see this is the liver when you have in fact removed the thoracic cage, because it is totally under the cover of the thoracic cage, so much so that it will actually be leaving at the level of you say the fifth or sixth intercostal space. You say the sixth intercostal space between the sixth and seventh, or between the fifth and the sixth rib here. So that means in the palpation of your thoracic cage or the thoracic cavity, you feel the dullness here, and this is what we call here the span of liver. Now, if for example you see the thoracic cage or any rib is fractured, having a traumatic injury to the rib, there are chances that the liver will be injured. Though it is not a thoracic organ, it is a purely an abdominal organ, but the nature has in fact given protection to this organ by the bones of the thorax, bones of the thoracic cage. Because the abdomen, you know that anteriorly and laterally it is almost boneless. So these vital organs have been actually given protection here by the thoracic cage. Number one is the liver that has actually got refuge here in the thoracic cage, and another is on the left side here, is much higher, it is the spleen. But you see that because why it is not felt here in the abdomen, it will be felt below the costal margin only when it is enlarged, when it is when there is some condition which will lead here to the hepatomegaly. Then if you are actually looking at this, means it is totally enclosed or under the cover of the thoracic cage. Because it is in the abdominal organ, still is not being felt here in the abdomen. The reason is that because the diaphragm is dome shaped, you see it is like an umbrella. So if you are looking at this now, you see if the diaphragm is just like this, and if the diaphragm is like an umbrella, so this liver is in fact under this cover of the two domes of the diaphragm. After under the two domes of the diaphragm when it is, then you see that you cannot actually feel it, or you cannot palpate it. But in a child, even the normal sized liver can be palpated. Now if for example you are looking at this, you see like in this, especially you are actually watch this model. Now this all is covered with the diaphragm, like this. Everything is covered with the diaphragm. Means if it is covered with the diaphragm, that's why you cannot actually palpate it below the costal margin. So this anterior surface, the surface basically, the anterior surface, this one, and even its superior surface, most of it, you see, like this, all they are under the cover of diaphragm. So better not call it the anterior surface and the superior surface separately, better call it diaphragmatic surface. So you can see these two surfaces like the anterior surface, which you can see the smooth, and you are watching some landmarks here on this superior surface, you can see this also. So this all is under the dome of the diaphragm, under the cover of the diaphragm, not palpable in the abdominal examination. But at the same time, when these two surfaces are there without any border, you can say this is anterior and we have got this superior surface. Then you see that this is superior surface, this is anterior surface. Just behind the anterior surface, just behind it, the anterior surface, we have got this surface that is called the posterior, and just opposite this superior surface, we have got this surface that is called the inferior. And this posterior as well as this one, this just behind, because this is just behind the anterior surface, this one anterior, this is posterior, they are just opposite to each other. And we have got this surface that is called the superior, and just opposite to that will be this surface also, this one, this is called the inferior. Because the inferior and posterior surface, they do not actually have any border in between, that's why this whole surface can be called as a posterior inferior surface also. So that means you can say we have just two surfaces. One surface that is called the diaphragmatic surface, which consists of anterior as well as superior parts, and we have got this surface that is called the posterior surface, and inferior, that is called the posterior inferior surface. We can call this two together as the visceral surface. So that means we have got the visceral surface and we have got the diaphragmatic surface, the one which is in touch with the diaphragm, that is its anterior as well as superior, and the one which is in touch with the is in contact with the viscera, that is called the visceral surface. And visceral surface will actually show you some impressions of a very important viscera, which are in fact as putting pressure on them, and this pliable organ, which is not actually as hard as the heart can be, but this organ you will see that is having impressions on the different lobes of those viscera which is making the impressions on them. This is what we call here the visceral surface. So better will be, you can call it as a diaphragmatic surface, visceral surface, that is enough. Don't call it the anterior, superior or posterior or anything here. We say it is a diaphragmatic surface which is in touch with the diaphragm, and visceral surface which is in fact with the touch of the abdominal viscera, because this is a very much important abdominal organ. It could have been in fact with the touch of the heart also, but because the heart is in fact being separated from this top surface, from its diaphragmatic surface by means of the diaphragm. Because you see just over the diaphragm, it is actually sitting our heart, and just under that separated from the heart by the diaphragm, it is actually the liver. And because you see from distance, the liver is in fact having here a larger right lobe and a smaller left lobe. Because it is a larger right lobe and it expanded here, that's why the right dome of the diaphragm, the right hemidiaphragm has been actually pushed up here. That's why it is a little higher than the left, because the left lobe of the liver is actually not that much higher, not that much larger here. It's almost 3/4 of your total anatomic part of your liver, or the anatomic share of your liver is the right lobe, and roughly 1/4 is the left lobe. Look at this. Now see here, you are seeing it from distance. This is the left lobe and this is the right lobe, and you can see this is whole surface which you are actually watching, because it has been in fact the diaphragm has been removed. So this all is it's a diaphragmatic surface. It's an anterior surface obviously, but some part of the diaphragmatic surface will be superior also. You see this? This is the surface which has been actually shown from behind. This is the visceral surface. It is making various impressions, we will discuss them, but these are various impressions here. And if you are looking at this now, you see from distance anatomically your two lobes have been divided into, actually the total liver has been divided into two lobes by means of this reflection of a ligament here. You see this, there is an impression here. You see this is a ligament here, we call it the falciform ligament. We discussed that falciform ligament in the ligaments of liver, but you see this is a falciform ligament. And this is now free edge of your falciform ligament. And free edge of your falciform ligament is harboring here a very important obliterated, you see the vein that is called left umbilical vein, and this is now a ligament. You call it the ligamentum teres. So this is ligamentum teres, which is in fact is passing through the falciform's free margin, and free margin of falciform ligament, this is called the ligamentum teres. So this is a round ligament, or the ligamentum teres you call it. So here, and when it is actually reflecting on the liver, it will be covering the liver from both sides here. This is the left as well as right. The total liver is totally intraperitoneal, except in some areas which are not covered with the peritoneum. These are called the bare areas of the liver, and this is one bare area is so famous that its name is the bare area. So this is what we call here the falciform ligament. Anatomically, falciform ligament divides the liver from this visceral, anterior or from this diaphragmatic surface into the interior surface into two clear-cut lobes, the smaller left lobe and the larger right lobe. Almost 3/4 here, almost 1/4 here. It's not in quarters as such, but you can say almost it is 1/4. This is 3/4 of the total mass of your liver. This is here the mark which you are actually seeing here. Though we don't have too many borders as such. If you go here to the right side, we don't have even a border, but you see this on the right side you don't have a border. You see it's like a blunt and rounded surface, you can say. You see it is on the right side. If you are actually going, you see it doesn't have actually any border here. And if you will actually go here inferiorly, then it is a sharp border. You see this is a border. This is called the inferior border. When there is the enlargement of the liver, it is called the hepatomegaly. below the costal margin, when you are beginning to feel now, you are beginning to palpate now the liver, it is actually this inferior border which you are starting now at the palpation time. And this is going down here, and it will be going down inferiorly, and if it is too much enlarged here, it's a massive epidemically, you can feel that in the right iliac fossa also. So that's why in abdominal examination, liver palpation by convention is actually started here from the right iliac fossa upward here until you will actually start feeling it. So not necessarily you will feel it in right iliac fossa, but you will start feeling it from right iliac fossa upward here, until you will reach here to the costal margin. When you are not feeling it, the liver is impalpable, and then you will actually be watching here, and you cannot feel here under the costal margin. You will palpate, you should percuss it now, and you will see that when the percussion is there, it will be dull notes, dull, until it will become resonant, means this will be the span of the liver here. And if the liver span is there, and you will actually be judge here whether it is normal size or it is shrunken. When it is shrunken, you will see that it might have the fibrosis, or you can say that it might have the cirrhosis of liver. Now, if for example you are looking at, so that is anterior surface where the liver was having the two anatomic lobes, you can say. One is the right lobe, another is the left lobe. Same, this mark which is in fact marked here by the falciform ligament, similarly on the visceral surface you will also have a landmark here. Similar landmark just under it, you see just behind it, here on the anterior surface, and here will be on the visceral surface. See this. See, similarly, you just say this on the back of the falciform ligament, because in the front you see that on the front side there was a ligamentum teres in the this is the obliterated left umbilical vein in the free edge of the falciform ligament. You see same here. This is round ligament. You see ligamentum teres, and here is the, this is the area where your round ligament has been buried. And this area represents the front. At the front, this area was represented by the falciform ligament, and here it is the round ligament which will be visible here. That's why this is actually called here a ligament, and here this is a fissure. You call this fissure as the fissure for ligamentum teres. So this is the fissure for ligamentum teres. This LT you say there. But this is almost on the visceral surface, almost on the up to the half of it. Just above the half there is another ligament actually, and there is another fissure also. This fissure is called fissure for ligamentum venosum. I will tell you that what is ligamentum venosum. This is ligamentum venosum. Means on the visceral surface you can divide the liver into larger right, that is 3/4, and the smaller left is the 1/4 left lobe here, but this time not by virtue of your falciform ligament, but by virtue of the two fissures which are lined with each other in complete. Half you see the lower half, it is the fissure for ligamentum teres, and upper half it is the fissure for ligamentum venosum. Here you can see this here. See here, this is a fissure for, this is the mark of, this one is the mark of the falciform ligament. And similarly, at the same time, you see that on the back of it, just at the same level, you will have this ligament, this fissures here. And here you have got this one, this is called the fissure for ligamentum teres, and this one here, this is called the fissure for ligamentum venosum. So that means on the visceral surface, the liver is divided into the same left lobe and the right lobe, but by means of these two fissures, rather than the falciform ligament anteriorly. Anteriorly you don't have the fissures. Anteriorly you just as the mark of the, this is the cut margin of your falciform ligament. So the two lobes in fact have been shown, as well as the surfaces are concerned, anterior surface, the superior surface. I say anterior surface, I say anterior superior together is diaphragmatic, and whatever surface you see, I am actually covering it with my hand, anterior as well as my superior surface, like this. And whatever is now remaining will be the visceral surface, which consists of some surface that is just opposite the anterior, that is the posterior, and just opposite the superior, that is the inferior. So inferior, posterior inferior surface should be called as the visceral surface, and which is giving you the impressions of various viscera here. And if you are looking at this, to watch it. So this will be here like this, but if you are actually going to this huge right lobe on the visceral surface, especially, there are certain markings of the viscera. Two markings already, but not the markings as such, two fissures already you have seen here. But at the same time, I will actually be showing you here on the visceral surface two important impressions of the two important viscera. One will be just on the right of your fissure for ligamentum venosum, which is nothing but the impression for the inferior vena cava, because you can actually remove the inferior vena cava, there will be a depression there. And just opposite the ligamentum teres, on its right side within the right lobe, there will be an impression of another organ that is called the fissure for that is called here the fossa for gallbladder. So here is the fossa for gallbladder, which gallbladder already is present here. When I will remove it, there will be impression here, and here will be the fissure for, this is called the fossa for inferior vena cava, and here in this picture inferior vena cava itself is personally present there. When you will remove there will be an impression. And this line actually, when I will be drawing here a line, you can say when I will be actually drawing here an imaginary line that will pass through the middle of your inferior vena cava and also at the middle of the fundus of the gallbladder, means from here if the mark is here and if the mark is here. When I am actually joining this line, these 2 points here by a broken line here, like here. So one piece of right lobe in fact will be separated from the rest of the right. One piece means between what? Between this imaginary line and these two, this line which has been partly formed by the fissure for ligamentum teres and partly by the ligamentum venosum. This is one line which is a true line which is available there, but this line which is actually an imaginary line that we have drawn, and this imaginary line is actually important. This is called the line of Cantelli. This is the line of Cantelli. This is Cantelli's line. You call them line of Cantelli. This is the line which is in fact passing through the middle of the fissure for ligamentum, fissure for the gallbladder and impression of the gallbladder, the fossa for gallbladder and the fossa for inferior vena cava. So this is something, and where this line I have drawn, this line has been actually drawn through the visceral surface of the right lobe. And already present anatomically is a line that has been in fact between the left lobe and the right lobe, and this is the line represented by partly by the inferiorly by the fissure for ligamentum teres and above by the fissure for ligamentum venosum. So between these two lines, you know that between these two lines, this piece of liver in fact belongs to the right lobe, and this piece of the liver belongs to the right lobe. Here in the middle of this piece there is a depression, there is a gateway through which the things in fact can go into the mass of the liver and the substance of the liver, or they are actually leaving out here. This is in fact the port of the liver. This is in fact called the hilum of the liver, but we call it the port of the liver because things are being transported through this depressed area. You know that such depressed area in any viscera you call them the hila. We call them the hilum. Here this is the hilum. Obviously it is a hilum. We don't call it hilum as such in this liver. You will call it the place through which the things are being ported, through which things are being transported. And the things are being transported here. You will see that this thing is actually called the portal of the liver. You call it the porta of the liver. We call it the porta of the hepatis. You call it the porta hepatis. So porta hepatis is actually synonymous to the hilum of the liver. And here the things can actually enter or can leave, because the liver, you know, that is a very important highly vascular organ also, which is actually having a dual supply here. 75% of the total mass of the blood that is actually receiving it from the portal vein, which is the mixed blood, you see that it is deoxygenated, as well as the food products are the products of digestion. But it is a 30% blood is actually coming through the arteries, like all viscera actually getting their arterial supply, the pure oxygenated blood through the hepatic artery. It's a dual blood supply, and due to the dual blood supply, the chances of the liver being necrotic or infarction of the liver is very, very rare. Where there is a dual organ, like your lung, you see there is a dual blood supply, partly from bronchial arteries and partly from pulmonary arteries. Here again you are seeing the dual blood supply, and both the bloods will mix within your liver sinusoids. And here you see that this is the middle piece, which is very important, because in the middle piece now there is a depressed area. This is called the porta hepatis, and in the porta hepatis we will show you lot of structures going inside and they are actually leaving. This is the porta hepatis you are actually watching. So on the visceral surface, you will be roughly seeing in fact a kind of a landmark, like H-shaped landmark. The vertical limb of one side, on the right side vertical limb, that's the right vertical limb of H, its upper half is formed by the fossa for inferior vena cava, lower half is formed here by the fossa for gallbladder, and this whole total line actually is called the line of Cantelli. Left vertical limb of your H actually is above marked by here fissure for ligamentum venosum, and below it is marked here by the fissure for ligamentum teres. And in the middle, both of them, they are actually connected by each other by means of this line that is called the horizontal line that overlies the porta hepatis. And due to this arrangement, this piece and this piece of the liver actually is the full one piece of liver, but this is one piece. If I will tell you that almost a middle 20% has been occupied by the porta hepatis, so above 40%, below 40% piece is remaining there. They have been separated. And both of them anatomically belong to the right lobe, obviously, because anatomically right and left lobes have been divided by means of this fissure for ligamentum teres and fissure for ligamentum venosum. So this is actually the right lobe's portion. See, this 40%, this 40%. But we will call this piece as a caudate lobe. Card means tail. It's having a tail-like process also. And because this piece is totally, you see, quadrangular, that's why it is called a quadrate lobe. So quadrate, quadrangular, caudate, tail-like. These two pieces are these two lobes. In fact, they belong to the right lobe of the liver surely, but they are important functionally in a way that they in fact will be having to do something with the left lobe. We will tell you that this is what we call here the functional divisions of the liver here. Here have the different segments and the functional divisions also. So when this Cantelli line I am actually drawing, my caudate and the caudate lobes, so these are the caudate and the quadrate lobes, they belong to the right lobe obviously anatomically, but functionally they will be actually the parts of the left lobe. Means left lobe will be, they are born in the house of the right, but they have been adopted by the left. Means left will look after them. It will give actually the all allowances, everything, blood supply, venous drainage, lymphatics, etc. It will be actually be provided by the left side area. So they functionally will be a part of the left in such a way that Cantelli line, we can say, divides the liver into the two equal halves. Means this time you will not say functionally the liver is actually having a 3/4 right and the 1/4 left. You will say that 2/4 will be right lobe, but this time the right lobe has been in fact deprived of. That means right lobe you have minus the caudate and quadrate. This has been the part of the left lobe. Now this time you say functionally left lobe full, caudate and the quadrate together, they will be the functional parts. This is the functional divisions we will actually tell you. And who is actually functionally divide them? Anatomically already been divided. Anatomically already been divided by the fissure for ligamentum teres and fissure for ligamentum venosum on the visceral surface, and from the front it was a falciform ligament. But this is now the imaginary line, which is only we are actually drawing here on, which is an imaginary line. You can draw that on the fissure as a fossa for gallbladder, fossa for inferior vena cava. But the same line you can draw anteriorly also. But anteriorly you can't see the quadrate, and you see their markings also anteriorly as well. But you can see this also. Now you are watching these fissures and others also. See, now you can watch it here. This is now tail-like process which it has. This is called the caudate lobe, and this one is called the quadrate lobe. And who is dividing them? This is Cantelli line you can draw here. This will be here. They have been given to left lobe functionally, not anatomically. And if this is now this Cantelli line which I am actually drawing here, but the same line you can mark here also, because this will be almost here. It's like this. So what will be above? Above will be caudate lobe and below will be the quadrate lobe. No, actually caudate lobe you can only see on the visceral surface. Whatever you see on the front, it will be the quadrate lobe portion. So it is not just it is on the front. You cannot actually divide that. Now my lower portion is caudate and my upper portion is quadrate. like here? No. Caudate lobe will be visible only on your visceral surface. You can say some posterior and some superior, you can say that also, but overall it will be on the visceral surface you can see. On front you cannot actually see. So on the front what you will see? Here quadrate, and similarly anterior whole quadrate will be there, but you don't call it quadrate as such, but you can say this is the same functional segment. So quadrate lobe is in fact the segment number 1, functional segment or surgical segment number 1 is this tail like is called the quadrate lobe, which is only visible here on the back side here. We will discuss this more, as well as you see that discuss about the impressions on the various surfaces, which impressions you will actually see. What are the various ligaments, peritoneal ligament, these are all the peritoneal ligaments. What you see here, this is called the porta hepatis, what structures are actually going in and they are leaving out. This we will actually discuss in the next session of your liver anatomy.